heaves it. They're bunched up in the end zone. It's tipped up. It's caught. It is caught. Jauan Jennings.
To a 4-4 fake. And there's a touchdown! Touchdown, my God, a touchdown! We threw it to Haynes. We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose.
This is the Georgia-Tennessee rivalry, a series with no official name, but one that has produced tons of thrilling endings and some of the most famous moments in college football history. Today we will take a look at the best games that have played out between the Dogs and the Volunteers. I truly hope y'all enjoy. We'll start in Knoxville in 1968. This game was a big one before the two opponents even kicked off. This was Georgia and Tennessee's first matchup in 31 years, despite both being members of the SEC Conference since its inception in 1932. Tennessee decided to try artificial turf for their stadium, making this the first Southern football game to be played on turf. This was also the first game that legendary announcer John Ward would call for the Volunteers. And finally, this game featured Tennessee's first black player, as sophomore Lester McLean would start at wide receiver for the Volunteers. In front of a national television audience, this game would live up to the hype. Tennessee recovered a Georgia fumble near the end of the first quarter and drew first blood as Mike Jones went over the top for the touchdown. Georgia would answer in the second half with a field goal and then took the lead on a punt return from star safety Jake Scott.
Changes the complexion of the game just minutes later. Herman Weaver's punt goes a booming 57 yards, but Scott fends off would-be tacklers and returns the kick 90 yards. The touchdown sprint puts the Bulldogs in the lead for the first time, 10-7.
On the ensuing drive, Tennessee drove inside the 5-yard line, but fumbled the ball and the Dogs recovered it on the 1. Tennessee then burst through the Georgia offensive line and got a safety to cut the Dogs' lead to 1. With 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, Georgia seemed to take a decisive lead on an 80-yard touchdown run from Bruce Kemp. Tennessee now had to go 80 yards in 2.5 minutes to simply have a chance at a tie. Early in the drive, the Volunteers faced a 4th down and 3 at their own 38-yard line. Bubba Weish then found Lester McLean to pick up the first down and keep the drive alive. Weish then connected with Mike Jones on 2 big passes to get the ball inside the 10-yard line. The Dogs then came up with 2 big sacks to back Tennessee up to the 21-yard line. And just like that, time had nearly run out. There was only a couple seconds left, so this play was going to be the last of the ball game. I'll stop the commentary here and let John Ward take over.
The quarterback. To the right is McLean. To the left is Chris. White's throwing down into the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee! Touchdown to Chris. This is Chris. Here they go for the 2-point play. White's to throw across the middle. Good! Good! Tennessee on the final play of this football game ties it. Kendi Long makes the grab. What an effort by Tennessee.
And just like that, it was all over. Tennessee had pulled off a miracle tie against Georgia. While this tie certainly felt like a win for the Volunteers and a loss for the Dogs, the opposite ended up being true. Georgia went perfect through SEC play and took home the SEC championship. Tennessee was just behind them, and the Vols would have been SEC champs if they had beaten Georgia. We fast forward to 1973 as an unranked Georgia team took on the 11th ranked Volunteers in Neyland Stadium. This game was a high-scoring affair as the two programs traded several touchdowns, resulting in Georgia leading 21-14 at halftime. In the second half, Tennessee would kick a field goal before scoring a go-ahead touchdown on a big punt return from Eddie Brown. The Volunteers then seemed to ice the game with another touchdown to lead 31-21 in the fourth quarter. Late in the fourth, Georgia scored on a short touchdown pass and then forced Tennessee to punt on the ensuing drive. Tennessee tried to fake the punt, but the Dogs were all over it, giving their offense great field position to go out and win it. With just over a minute left to play, Georgia scored the game-winning touchdown on a play that nearly ended in disaster.
Minute 17, minute 16, minute 15, second down on the 8.5. Andy gonna take it, give it to Harrison, fake it, Andy Johnson, touchdown Andy Johnson, touchdown Andy Johnson. What a fake. They hit Harrison dead on the 9 and Andy bootlegged to the left and scored. My God, Georgia beat Tennessee in Knoxville. Georgia's defeated Tennessee 35-31 in Neyland Stadium.
Now we fast forward 7 years to 1980, as the 16th ranked Bulldogs traveled to an unranked Tennessee team in week 1. The Volunteers would jump all over the Dogs at first, as they scored a safety and 2 touchdowns to take a 15-0 lead. Georgia would then finally get on the board in the third quarter from a muff punt by Tennessee.
And the kick is good. Long, gonna come down inside the 30, and we hit him. He fumbled the ball, and the Dog missed it. It's rolling to 10, to 7, to 5. We fumble it again. We fumble it. It's in the end zone. Get on that ball. It's on the back of the end zone. We had 3 men knock it 20 yards.
In the fourth quarter, the Dogs finally decided to give true freshman Herschel Walker a chance at running back, and this decision would change the course of this game and the season as a whole.
15-2, Tennessee leading. Crowd roaring against Georgia, trying to make them drop it so they can't hear. We hand it off to Herschel. There's a hole. 5, 10, 12. He's running over people. Oh, you Herschel Walker. My God almighty, he ran right through 2 men. Herschel ran right over 2 men. They had him dead away inside the 9. Herschel Walker went 16 yards. Tennessee trying to hang on to a 6-point lead. Slot with an eye. Tennessee crashing off one side. We pitch it to Herschel. Going to get him out. 10, 8, 7, 5. Herschel Walker. Tennessee guessed the other side. We went to the short side and pitched it to that kid out of Johnson County. He got a block in front of him out around the 6 or 7 and got inside of it and went in the corner standing.
With those 2 touchdowns, Walker had given the Dogs their first lead of the game, but the real hero of this game would be the defense, as they forced a massive turnover in the final 4 minutes of the game.
Let's come up to the line. Olszewski behind it. We're in a 6-5. They put a man in motion. They pitch it to the tail. He fumbled. It rolls around. Everybody dives. I think Georgia's got the ball on the 2-yard line. We cracked it out of his hands. Georgia's caught the ball. About the 2, it squirted up in the air, and somebody dove on it on the second down.
This would be Tennessee's last real chance at points, as Georgia pulled out a gutsy 1-point victory. The Dogs would then ride this momentum in the legs of Herschel Walker to a perfect 12-0 record and the program's first consensus national championship. We go to yet another game in Knoxville as the unranked Bulldogs took on the 6th-ranked Volunteers. Tennessee drew first blood in this one on a toss play to Chuck Webb.
Pitches to Webb at the corner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What did he do? He scored! Touchdown, Big Orange!
What followed was a brutal defensive and field goal fest, and the score read 10-6 Tennessee entering the fourth quarter. The Vols then scored their second touchdown of the game on the first play of the fourth period.
Comes to the line of scrimmage, leading 10-6. High formation, 2 flankers. Cobb, left side. Cobb has the ball at the 25. Cobb to the 20. Cobb to the 15. Cobb to the 10. Cobb to the 5. Cobb to the 4. Cobb to the 3. Cobb to the 2. Cobb to the 1. Give him 6. Tennessee, touchdown!
Georgia then drove down the field, only to throw a brutal interception on 3rd and goal.
Back to throw tally. Pass downfield. Intercepted Tennessee at the 6.
The defense stood tall, however, and Georgia gave themselves a chance with a 40-yard touchdown pass and a successful 2-point conversion to cut the lead to 3. The Dogs had a shot in the final minutes to drive down the field, but their drive stalled early, and Tennessee ran out the clock to secure a gutsy 17-14 win. 1992 is perhaps the most underrated game in series history, as 2 very solid ranked squads faced off in Athens in the second week of the season. This was Georgia's best team of the 90s, as their offense featured sophomore phenom Eric Zier at quarterback and future Madden cover athlete Garrison Hurst at running back.
Hurst, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown!
This game was one of those classic back-and-forth bouts, with neither team having the upper hand for very long. After a low-scoring first quarter, Georgia took a 10-6 lead from a 4-yard run by Garrison Hurst. Tennessee then answered with a touchdown run late in the first half to take the lead right back. This looked to be the score going into halftime, but Zier drove the Dogs down the field and threw a 40-yard touchdown pass with just 14 seconds left in the second quarter.
Zier moving to the right. He'll throw for Hastings. Got it! Touchdown, Georgia!
In the second half, Tennessee scored 2 touchdowns to take a 10-point lead early in the fourth.
Schuler to keep it. Schuler for the end zone. Schuler for the score.
After that, Garrison Hurst came alive, scoring 2 touchdowns to give the Dogs a 31-27 lead with 6 minutes left to play.
Back to the right. Hurst squirts the midfield. 45, 40, turns upfield. It's a big play by Hurst. Touchdown, Georgia.
Hell of a job, man. Hell of a job. Way to suck it up. We gotta have it. Good job.
6:06 to go. Up the middle, exploding again is Hurst. Hurst scores.
On the ensuing drive, Tennessee slowly marched down the field, but seemed to stall out around the 40-yard line as they faced a must-have 4th and 14.
Never needed a play. Here it is. Schuler has time over the middle Schuler calmly throws a strike to Ronald Davis.
Following this conversion, the Vols continue to march and bleed clock before finally punching it in to take a 34-31 lead.
Garner is the quick running back. Schuler keeps it. Schuler touchdown. There's penalty flags all over. 2 flags come flying as Schuler barges into the end zone again.
This touchdown capped a 14-play drive that took over 5 minutes off the clock and left the Dogs with just 50 seconds left. With Desire at quarterback, this was certainly possible, but Andre Hastings would ultimately be stripped to secure the win for Tennessee.
Looking to the left, throws to Hastings. First down, he's free. To the 40, the 35, fumble. Tennessee recovers. Holy cow! The Volunteers are going to win.
This was Georgia's 7th fumble of the game and the 4th recovered by Tennessee. The pain the Dogs felt from shooting themselves in the foot would be felt in full at the end of the season, as this loss ultimately stopped them from making it to the SEC Championship game, a game the Dogs would not appear in until 2002. We jump ahead 3 years to 1995, as an unranked Georgia team took on number 8 Tennessee in Knoxville. The Volunteers were the ones with the sophomore phenom this time, as Peyton Manning had taken the reins at quarterback. Like many games in this series, this one was a constant back and forth. The teams would trade touchdowns in the first, before Tennessee scored another in the second quarter and took a 17-10 lead into halftime. Georgia then scored a pair of touchdowns in the third to take a 24-20 lead before Tennessee scored on a 17-yard strike to take a 3-point lead into the fourth. The final period was a low-scoring affair, with Georgia finally mustering up a field goal to tie the game with less than 5 minutes to go. On the ensuing drive, Peyton Manning threw a shocking interception. This gave Georgia incredible field position and a chance to win it with a field goal. The offense then went nowhere, forcing their kicking unit into a tough 53-yard field goal. The kick sailed wide right, giving Manning and the Vols a chance to go and win it themselves. They drove down the field easily, setting up a 34-yard field goal in the final moments. Tennessee's freshman kicker Jeff Hall was clearly nervous before the kick, and his nerves were certainly not calmed by words from Peyton Manning and Jay Graham.
Everybody's still here. Nobody's left this ball game.
Well, it's down to this. It will be Jeff Hall attempting the field goal. 35 yards. Kick is up. Did he make it? The crowd tells you. Georgia! Tennessee 30, Georgia 27.
1998 featured a massive top 10 matchup in Athens with both teams on perfect records. This matchup would not quite live up to the hype, however, as Tennessee completely suffocated the Georgia offense. The Volunteer defense swarmed Quincy Carter and forced mistakes all game, allowing the team to cruise to a convincing 22-3 win.
This is Travis Henry as the running back. This is Martin. Faking, looking, pass into the end zone is, give it to him. Touchdown, Cedric Wilson. What a catch, what a catch.
Tennessee would then ride this momentum the rest of the season, ultimately besting Florida State in the Fiesta Bowl to take home the program's 6th national championship. We now go just 2 years later to a ranked matchup in Athens. Before we get into the game, it's important to understand the context at the time. Tennessee had completely owned the series with Georgia over the past decade, winning 9 straight against the Bulldogs. The last time Georgia beat Tennessee was during Vince Dooley's last season, all the way back in 1988. Needless to say, the Dogs were desperate to finally take down the Big Orange, and this game at home certainly looked like their best chance to do it. This game would not be easy for either team, with the first half being a low-scoring turnover fest.
Snap, Suggs retreating. We chase him, dumps a little screen to the right side. Broke one tackle, and then we hit him, and he fumbled on the 29, and I think the Dogs have got the ball. Toss sweep, give it to Thornton. Got a block. Down the sideline to 20, to 15, to 10. Tripped and down by a blocker and a tackler on the 4-yard line. 4. Quincy starts to the left, and he pitches it out. And Jasper blows in there, but there's a flag down. Watch it. Flag down. Sanks blew in there to score, and it is a touchdown. The penalty would have been on Tennessee. Tight end stands up and comes in motion to this side of the field, and Tennessee's bringing people up. He's trying to bootleg, and he dropped the ball. It's rolling around on the 21. Tennessee has picked the ball up, and Henderson, a big tackle, ran that ball down to about the 6-yard line. Field goal attempt is up there strong, and the kick is good, and we are 7-3, 5-man line. And Quincy dropped the ball, and there's a pileup and a fumble on the 44, Tennessee's territory. Tennessee says they've got it. They do. Quincy's fumbled it again. There. He takes it and drops back. They protect him. He dumps it out, complete on the 11, and we knock him out. On the 8.5, it's close to a first down. They only need 2 feet. He hands it to the tailback, and we hit him, and I don't know if we got it. We hit him on the Travis Henry, Josh Millard, the guys. 2 seconds left in the half. Dogs up to the line in the eye. Quincy's underneath, 2 wide outs. Going to take it, run a toss. Oh, and Thornton fumbled the ball. There's a pileup. We've given him the ball again. The pitch may have hit him up around the shoulder pads. I don't know. I thought it hit both his hands on the 17. Richmond, the defensive end, recovered for down, trying to get the lead for the first time. Snap to Clausen. Fires a bullet on the left. Intercepted. Grabbed by Tim Wansley, who read the play in the corner like he did at Arkansas. Audibilized a little. Suggs runs a top sweep, and they get Henry out around the right, and Henry's got blocking. There he goes. 40, 45, 50. Got another block. 40. Somebody from behind is going to dive and pull him down around the 20. Suggs underneath. We've stacked the line. He gives it to the tailback. He jumped and got in there and scored. Stevens, the number 2 tailback, hurdled the left side of the line. Go down. Quincy underneath. We're in an eye, and he fakes the 2 backs. He breaks away and throws long down to the right, and he's got a man there. He hit Edwards on the 13. Quincy going to take it, going to give it to the eye back, and we drive him at the tackle and scores. Jasper Sanks drove at that right tackle. 4-3. Now they come up into a 6-1. Snap on a shotgun to Quincy. Little tunnel screen complete to Edwards, sliding right over to the right side, up over the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30, out of bounds. Where did he step out? Back on a 37. Up on a 7-4, and we're going to give it to Musa. Touchdown! Flag down, flag down. Wait a minute. Watch it. Flag down. 2 flags down. Watch it now.
Defense lined up offside.
Yeah, it was on Tennessee. They lined up offside. Musa hurdled, and the Dogs lead 20-10. Down 3:24 and the clock going. They only need 10 inches. Will they just sneak it in the middle? There's a gap right in there. Suggs needs less than a yard. They give it to Henry. We met him in the hole, and we tried to drive him back, and I don't know if we did, but it's awfully close. He hit our left tackle, and 3 red jerseys shoved him back. I think we acted like we got the ball. I don't think they make it. My God, the defense stopped them on the 4 3/4 yard line.
Following this stop, Georgia just had to hold on to their 2-score lead for a few minutes to win the game. The UGA students sensed that the streak was about to end, leading to one of the most incredible scenes in Sanford Stadium history.
And he kicks it off. Spiral coming around the 50, coming down, taken by Parker, who came across, and we hit him on the 46. With 1:26 to go. They're working on 1 goalpost already, and we're playing the game. 4th down and 14 for Tennessee with 86 seconds. All they got to do is hit a bomb, and they change the whole thing. 4 wideouts, shotgun. Suggs takes it. He's coming back. Throws long down the left side. And we intercepted on the 20. Tim Wansley to the 25 to the 30. The students are coming out on the field. The 40, the 45, the 50. Cuts back and falls down. Lies down in the 43. Get the students off the field, for God's sakes. 1:13. Now they're coming on the field on both ends. Now what are you going to do? Now we got control of the students on that east side of the stadium, where all the old tracks used to be. We finally got about 3,000 of them off the field back to the goalpost, and it took a lot of people to do it. 36 seconds, it's 2nd down and about 12, and we take another knee, and now the clock is beautifully moving. Oh, here come the students again.
That's a ball game.
The students have poured out on the field. The goalposts haven't been down on this field. We don't let that happen here.
No, I never thought it would happen, and I was completely wrong. I said yesterday they would never come down at Sanford Stadium, but they're coming down right now.
To this day, this is the only field rush in the entire history of Sanford Stadium. The records and ranking didn't matter. All Georgia fans cared about was that they had taken down the rivals for the first time in 12 years. These 2 programs would face off in another instant classic just 1 year later, as the unranked Bulldogs traveled to Knoxville to take on the 6th-ranked Volunteers. Tennessee drew first blood on a touchdown pass early in the first quarter before Georgia answered with a field goal. The Vols then scored on another touchdown pass at the end of the first to take an 11-point lead into the second. The second quarter would turn the game in favor of the Dogs, as they scored 2 touchdowns to take a 17-14 lead.
Damian Gary on the 29, 35, 40. Hey, up the middle, 50, 45. Dance the man, 40, 35. Another dives and misses. There he goes, Damian Gary. Now he run that back out there in motion. David Green looks, throws a little inside screen, touchdown right up the middle of Fred Gibson.
On the ensuing drive, Tennessee would drive down the field and kick a field goal to tie the game up at 17. This would be the score at halftime, as well as the score entering the fourth quarter, as the two teams held each other scoreless in the third period. Billy Bennett then finally broke the deadlock with 10 minutes left in the game to give the Dogs a 20-17 lead. The Georgia defense continued to play tough throughout the fourth and seemingly won the game for the Dogs with an interception with less than 2 minutes left in the game.
This orange, 3 receivers, Clausen back to pass again. Firing, intercepted Jermaine Phillips on the 27, up over the 30 and into our sidelines, and our guys are mobbing him. Intended for Travis Stevens. He threw it behind him, Jermaine Phillips, with 1:53.
All Georgia needed was a first down to win the game, but they would get stuffed on 3 straight plays and were forced to punt. Tennessee was in a rough spot still, on their own 22-yard line with no timeouts and just over a minute left to play. The Vols completed a pass to get the ball to the 38-yard line, then threw an unassuming screen pass that broke Georgia hearts.
To save him at the end. Second down. 5-man back about 6 yards. Clausen takes a snap, dumps a screen with blocking over on the left, and driving, breaking. Travis Stevens going. Travis Stevens is going down the sideline, and he's in the corner, and touchdown, and it's all over. They threw a screen, and Travis Stevens sprinted down the left side, and the Dogs couldn't catch him. And Hearts fall down here with 44 seconds to go.
There was still some time left on the clock, but Georgia only had 42 seconds and 1 timeout to drive all the way down the field and score a touchdown.
Standing up, takes a snap, dumps it across at Damian Gary, who made one man miss, made another miss, but the next two got him on the 47 and pulled us down. 34 seconds. David Green going to take it. He got a block. He rolls out to the right, throws on a run, incomplete, too low. Shotgun. David Green looking down the middle, and McMichael hanging on to a ball one-handed and got it all the way to the 20, stumping. Burnett pulled him down. Right, we're in an eye with 2 wideouts. They're stacking their linebackers close. David Green back to throw, fires, and we catch it on the 7, and the clock is 10 seconds. 6 seconds, McMichael again. We have come flying down the field. We are on their 6-yard line. We are going to have one play to try and save ourselves. Remember, we left our heart down on the other end of the field. We have come all the way back to the 6-yard line, and we just took the last time out like gold bullion and had to spend it. Tennessee playing what amounts to a 4-4 fake, and there's a touchdown! Touchdown, my God, a touchdown! We threw it to Haynes. We just stuffed it with 5 seconds left. My God almighty, did you see what he did? David Green just straightened up, and we snuck the fullback over. Haynes is keeping the ball. Haynes has come running all the way across to the bench. We just dumped it over. It's 26-24. We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. We just crushed their face. We dumped it over. David Green brought us flying down the field, and Haynes caught a sneak pass wide open. Georgia players are jumping for sheer shocking joy out in the middle of the field. This is a sweet, golden, ungodly, unbelievable miracle we have pulled. They broke our hearts, and we just came back down the field. Man, did we come back down the field.
We now go to 2004, with number 17 Tennessee traveling to Athens as 12.5-point underdogs against number 3 Georgia. The Dogs were riding a 17-game home winning streak and had just whooped to number 13 LSU a week prior. But Tennessee came to play, converting on a 4th down and scoring a touchdown on their opening drive.
3rd and 8, 3-step drop, looks, fires the ball for the end zone. The pass is going to be there. Touchdown! Back of the end zone, Brett Smith.
Later in the first, Tennessee went on a long drive and drilled a field goal to take a 10-0 lead. Georgia answered in the second quarter on a deep touchdown pass to Fred Gibson to make the score 10-7. Late in the first half, Tennessee would drill a 51-yard field goal to take a 13-7 lead into the locker room. Near the end of a third quarter that saw both teams miss field goals, Georgia attempted a fake punt to try and give some spark to the offense. Tennessee was all over it, and they took this great field position into a touchdown drive that concluded at the start of the fourth quarter.
2 tight ends. Ainge under center on 2nd and goal for the 4. Ainge Rolls out right, looks, fires for the end zone, lobs it up there. The pass is going to be touchdown. Touchdown, Tennessee. Chris Hannon on the right corner of the end zone.
Georgia would finally answer with a touchdown late in the fourth quarter to cut Tennessee's lead to 5. The Dogs then stood tall and forced a punt, leading to a situation that felt all too familiar to these two teams. Just 3 years earlier, freshman quarterback David Green had drove Georgia down the field for a game-winning touchdown in less than a minute. Now a senior, Green had just over 2 minutes left to do it once again, and drive down the field he would, but using up a lot of clock as Georgia picked up 4 first downs and used their last timeout, and had only managed to get to the opposing 40-yard line with 11 seconds left. Then this happened.
From the 40-yard line, Green back to throw. Green sets up, fires the pass. It's complete. Complete to Fred Gibson. Gibson breaks a tackle down to the 20. Gibbs is going to be knocked out of bounds with 1 second to go on the clock. 1 second left is what they say.
This Herculean effort by Gibson and perhaps a generous out-of-bounds call by the official left 1 second on the clock, giving Georgia one last chance to break Tennessee hearts.
Yard line, Green's got to throw for the end zone with 1 second left to go. Gets the snap. Green back to throw, pressured, fires for the end zone. The pass is knocked away, intercepted. The game is over. Tennessee has won. Tennessee has defeated the Georgia Bulldogs, and the Volunteers win 19-14 between the hedges. The 4-game losing streak to Georgia is over.
We fast forward 9 years to 2013 as the 6th-ranked Bulldogs traveled to Knoxville to take on the unranked Volunteers. Unsurprisingly, the heavily favored Bulldogs jumped out to a 17-3 lead, scoring on 2 touchdown passes, starting with an incredible catch by Chris Conley.
Just does get it snapped, and he's got a touchdown.
Tennessee then scored on a nice catch of their own before tying it up with a blocked punt.
Picked up on one hop by Tennessee. They will stroll in.
Early in the fourth, Georgia would go ahead on a toss play before Tennessee tied it up once again on a short run to make the score 24-all. In the final 2 minutes, Tennessee would take their first lead of the game on a 7-yard run. Aaron Murray and company were now forced to drive 75 yards in less than 2 minutes to stay alive in this game. Incredibly, they did just that, getting all the way down to the 2-yard line with just 8 seconds left in the game. It was do or die time for the Dogs.
Is that caught? It is.
Georgia had tied it up, and the game went into overtime. Tennessee started with the ball, and then this happened. Incredibly, Pig Howard had fumbled the ball over the goal line, resulting in a touchback. This meant that all Georgia needed was a field goal to win the game, and after going nowhere on their first 3 plays, Marshall Morgan drove the dagger through Tennessee hearts.
They have got it!
We go just 2 years later to 2015, where number 19 Georgia went on the road to play an unranked 2-3 Tennessee team. Georgia was firing on all cylinders in the first half, jumping out to a 24-3 lead late in the second quarter.
Yards last week.
Low kick.
Yeah, it sure is. Bobbled, picked up on one hop, fortuitous. Oh my goodness, here's Reggie Davis. Slips the tackle. There are no flags.
Yes, there are.
Incredibly, Tennessee would score 2 touchdowns before the end of the half to cut Georgia's lead to 7.
At the 25, Josh Smith, touchdown, Tennessee.
You know this thing is going to go wild in the second half.
So
Ball's on the ground. That ball popped out.
Turnover.
Holy cow.
Quarterback rollout. Touchdown, Alvin Kamara.
The Volunteers would then score 2 more touchdowns in the third quarter to take their first lead of the game, before Georgia tied it back up at the start of the fourth quarter.
All of the work. Here's Lambert going deep. He's got a man open. And this one is caught. Reggie Davis, touchdown.
With 6 minutes left to go, Tennessee scored a touchdown at the end of a long drive to take a 38-31 lead. On the ensuing drive, Georgia faced a 3rd and long and looked to star wide receiver Reggie Davis.
Lambert hit from the backside, lets it fly. It's, oh no! Oh my gosh! Reggie Davis.
This was heartbreaking for sure, but the Georgia defense would stop Tennessee from running out the clock, forcing the Vols to punt back to them and giving their offense one last chance to go and win it.
He will let it.
Oh my goodness! Half-yard line!
Wow!
With that incredible punt, Georgia now had to go 99 yards in 1 minute and 48 seconds with only one timeout.
Lambert, first down, Reggie Davis.
Yes, they do.
That's what they do. Lambert across the middle, crossing pattern, underneath, first down. Terry Godwin, the freshman, on ball. Lambert steps up, lets it go for the end zone. Incomplete. 3 wides to the left, 1 wide right. Lambert steps up, pumps, lets it go. Is it caught?
Yes, it is. Get up there and spike it 3 seconds, but I don't see how that would help you.
Mitchell is top of the screen. Lambert into the end zone, double coverage.
Tennessee had pulled off the upset, and this loss was one of a few that season that ultimately ended Mark Richt's tenure as Georgia's head coach. We go just 1 year later to 2016, as a ranked matchup in Athens would turn out to be the most famous game in series history, and one of the most famous games in college football history. The first half was an exciting affair, with several big plays resulting in Georgia taking a 10-point lead into the locker room.
Sony Michel back in the backfield, fighting for yards.
Fumbled it.
It's recovered in the end zone. Touchdown, Jacob Eason.
He sure did.
In the second half, Tennessee would score a touchdown early in the third before the two teams traded touchdowns to make the score 24-21.
It's the middle, got a guy wide open. It's Isaac Nauta, and it's a touchdown, Georgia.
Oh, Jalen Hurd.
Dobbs, Kamara keeps his feet and plunges in. That's a touchdown, Tennessee.
The rest of the fourth quarter was pure chaos, and I'll let the highlights speak for themselves.
Now it's left. This could be it.
Wonderful
Oh my
play.
gosh. A catch in the air.
Pass. Let's see the matchups.
Eason from the end zone. Got him. Ball is loose. Touchdown recovered by Corey Vereen. Left. Eason under pressure. Gets it. Is that intercepted? Was he inbounds?
Field.
Trevor Daniel high, fairly short. McKenzie's going to let it bounce, and it was taken at the 19-yard line. He's got time. He goes across the middle. He's got a man wide open. Eason inside, caught. Dragged down at the 47.
The middle of the field now. If you throw the ball with only 19 seconds to go, how much more can you get off?
Eason has it. Steps up, looks deep, goes down the left side. He's got a man open. Touchdown, Riley Ridley.
Georgia had done it, pulling off a miracle in the final 10 seconds. However, Georgia was flagged for excessive celebration and would have to kick off from their own 20-yard line.
Tennessee's up. They're not going to kick it short. I don't know what they're doing.
Taken by Evan Berry. Gets loose. Tries to get out of bounds, does. 4 seconds to go.
Offside. Number 20, the kickoff team. The 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the return. First down.
With 2 penalties against Georgia and a big return by Tennessee, the Volunteers now had 1 shot at the end zone to pull off a miracle of their own.
Dobbs heaves it. They're bunched up in the end zone. It's tipped up. It's caught. It is caught. Jauan Jennings. Jauan Jennings.
We now look ahead to 2022 for the biggest game in series history. This game was as big as you could get, with Tennessee ranked number 1 in the CFP poll and Georgia ranked number 1 in the AP poll. The Dogs were the defending national champions, and they were determined to prove that they were the true number 1 team in the country in front of their home crowd.
The motion man. Play fake. Bennett loads it. fires to the end zone. McConkey, touchdown. One play, 6 more points for Georgia.
Ultimately, the Georgia defense was just too much for the Volunteers, as Georgia cruised to an impressive 27-13 win. The trajectories of these two programs would split after this game, as Tennessee would get their college football playoff hopes dashed by South Carolina just 2 weeks later, while Georgia would ride this momentum to a perfect record and a second straight national championship. And finally, we take a look at the most recent game in this series, as number 7 Tennessee traveled to Sanford Stadium to take on number 12 Georgia. The Bulldogs already had 2 losses, so this game was a must-win to keep their SEC championship and college football playoff hopes alive. This game started as a classic back and forth, with the two teams entering halftime tied at 17.
Back, look to the end zone, caught, touchdown. Oscar Delp's got 2 tonight. Sampson's got it. He's got a crease. Dylan Sampson to the house. It's Tennessee back on top.
The second half was all Georgia, however, as the Dogs put up 2 touchdowns and stifled the Tennessee offense to win the game 31-17.
High formation, Frazier behind Jones, touchdown, Georgia.
Ultimately, Georgia would win the SEC championship and both teams would make the playoff in the new 12-team format, but neither would take home the national title, with Tennessee getting crushed by eventual champ Ohio State and Georgia losing to eventual finalists Notre Dame. These two continue their series just 1 week from now with a big ranked matchup in Knoxville. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win this one and by how much. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to see more of my content in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below.